We'll get started. I think people will be joining us over the next few minutes. But today's panel discussion is a very special panel discussion for us. We recently inaugurated the Accessible Resource Center on March 6th. And this is the second panel discussion. We had one that day. But this is the next panel discussion that we have, thanks to Rebecca, who has um put together this panel for us. These are her ex-students whom she had taught during the course of her work at XRCVC. And she was very proud of the fact that they have reached greater heights now. And when we wanted students to talk about their experiences in science and math, she offered to reach out to this panel attendees and helped us to get to them, reach them, and bring them together. And a small introduction to Vision Empower and the Accessible Resource Center before we begin. Vision Empower is a not for profit organization which is working for inclusive STEM education for the visually impaired students, especially in the special schools for the blind all over India. And presently, we are working in around 145 schools and reaching around 6,000 students and also the teachers. And we have also been trying to identify very promising students who can be groomed and coached to reach their aspirations in their subjects of their choice. And the Accessible Resource Center is one of the efforts established as a shared resource center, as a regional hub for the students and teachers and schools in and around Bangalore, where we have put together a lot of accessible and tactile resources, assistive technologies, an accessible science lab, and a variety of other resources needed to make education, especially STEM education, accessible. And we also have an agenda of bringing together role models and decision makers to talk to us and the people in the Vision Empower, as well as our partner organizations, to inspire us to take these programs forward. So, in this context, I would like to welcome the panelists for today. Um, as I told you, these are all these are all people who were coached by our Rebecca earlier. Uh, and some of them have reached greater heights. So we have Yagnit Vadhel. He's a botany master student at the University of Vienna, Austria. He's passionate about research in the domains of plant molecular biology and plant developmental biology. Welcome, Yagnit. Thanks for joining us. Uh, we have Nisha Dsouza. She's an aspiring child psychologist and a music therapist and a student at the Leiden University. We have Rishi Tandel. He's pursuing first year junior college at St. Xavier's College. We have Pranav Savla, founding member at Phoenix Digital Media. He's a researcher, student, content creator, TEDx speaker, and an advocate for accessibility. We also have Bhuvika Agrawal. She's a visually impaired tech enthusiast, semi-finalist at Google Girl Hackathon 2025. She's also a contributor at the GSSOC 24. She's a TEDx speaker. She's also a mentee at the Codes.cafe. And she's a sophomore at Triple IT Lucknow. And she's passionate about data sciences and machine learning. Uh, Thank you for, once again for joining us, all of you. And I would like now to request each of you to introduce yourself in your own words before we start off with the actual discussion. We'll start in this order. Yagnit?
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Yagnit, we are able to hear
Yeah.
you.
Okay. And you can see the video as well, right? Or
Yes.
it's yeah.
Uh, Yagnit, we are not able to see your video.
Uh, uh, yeah. Now is it working now?
Uh, no, no, not yet, Yagnit.
Oh my gosh.
No, not
Okay.
yet.
What should I do? Because it's not working.
If it's okay with you, we can proceed with the audio.
Okay. Yeah, this is usually no problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So, uh, I don't know. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone present from here, not only from India, but I think we have persons from Leiden, Netherlands, and myself from Austria. So basically, I am a plant molecular biologist, and my aim is to study plant tolerance to extreme Arctic stress, extreme cold, extreme freezing stress in Arctic blueberries across Sweden and Finland. And I am very I started my career as a plant biologist at like when while I'm studying right now. I'm doing my masters, so during at the same time I'm also being actively involved in research at the University of Vienna at the Vienna Metabolome Center under the kind guidance of Dr. Wolfram Beckwith and Dr. Stephanie Wiku. So where I work on understanding whole scale proteome changes driven by phytohormones that are hormones in plants. And my end goal is to understand how is climate change going to affect blueberry production in Sweden and Finland. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining and sharing about your context. Yagnit, we'll now go to Nisha. Nisha, could you please introduce yourself? Yours.
Hello, can you see me? Fine.
Yeah, Nisha, we are
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to. Yeah, we are able to see
Okay.
you,
All
but the
right.
camera probably has to be tilted a little towards your face.
Oh
We are
yeah,
able.
yeah, yeah.
The opposite
I'm sorry.
direction.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I hope it's better now.
yeah, it is better.
All right. Okay. So hello everyone. I am Nisha Dsouza. I am studying my bachelor's in psychology from Leiden University in the Netherlands. And yes, as mentioned, my plan is to later um, specialize in the field of child psychology, and also, if possible, I might look into a music therapy master after this, because that is also one of my passions. I play classical guitar and piano, and I think that there is a lot you can do for people through music, even if it is at a subconscious level, and even if they do not immediately realize. Um, so yeah, I would really love to combine these two fields. As for now, this is just my second year um, of my psychology study, and well, I'm looking forward to doing a lot more special. This is the year where I can start specializing in child and developmental psychology courses. So I'm looking forward to how that goes.
Thank you, Nisha. That's a very,
Sure.
very unique specialization that you're aiming for, and it's very exciting to know about it. And I'm sure that will make a lot of difference with the passion that you have. Thank you so much, and thanks for joining us today.
Yes, of
Uh,
course.
yeah. Now, may I request Pranav Savla to unmute and please give an introduction. Pranav has joined. While we wait for Pranav, probably we could request Bhuvika Agrawal to unmute and talk to us, introduce herself to us. Bhuvika.
Hello.
Hello, Bhuvika. We are able to see you.
Yeah, okay. I'm audible also, right?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay, so my name is Bhuvika Agrawal. I am a second year BTech student at Triple IT Lucknow. My specialization is in information technology, and since a very young age, I have been passionate about computer science, and I have been learning programming since a young age. And right now, I'm trying to learn to dive deep into artificial intelligence and machine learning, uh, along with web development, uh, because like I feel that AI has a very huge potential to empower many lives, including those of visually impaired people. So, yeah, that's
Thank you so much, Bhuvika. It's so exciting to see people working on AI and ML with this perspective. Thank you for joining us. Do we have Pranav? Will he be able to
Hi,
join?
can you hear me?
Yeah, Pranav. We are able to
Okay,
hear.
cool. I hope you can see me in a half decent,
Just
meaningful way as well.
one
Sure.
second, Pranav. There is some noise from others. So I request anybody who is not speaking to mute themselves immediately. Yeah, we'll have a session, we'll have a Q&A at the end. Till then, everybody other than the panelists are requested to mute themselves. Thank you. Sorry, Pranav, please go ahead.
Sure. I was just checking if you could see me in a sort of half decent way as well.
Yeah, it's a bit dark
Oh,
currently.
that is just, yeah, not in the best recording environment. I hope that's fine.
Oh, okay. Not a
Yeah.
problem. You can go ahead, Pranav, please.
Okay, cool. So, wow, our amazing moderator has done a great job of, well, overestimating and objectifying my profile. I assure you it is not as interesting as she makes it out to be, but I'm going to try to cover my goal essentially. I am an incoming college student this year, just completing my final, just in fact, have just completed my final year in high school. And I'm basically going to go into computer science with a specialization in artificial intelligence and computational photography. So, taking images and drawing conclusions from them for things like self driving vehicles or self operated machinery
Hello?
and things like camera optics for on phone cameras and navigation and stuff. Um, Other than that, I'm currently working on one particular research project. My research involves exploring indoor navigation systems that don't require any other hardware for visually impaired persons. So if you want to navigate inside a building and stuff. And of course, I'm also a researcher at UDOT. So I work on user research and design, research and design in the startup on tactile displays and stuff. And finally, I think what's important is I'm also a content creator. So throughout all these projects, what I'm trying to do is advocate for and try to create more accessible technology and technology that's more price competitive, things that allow systems that allow heavier technology or more cutting edge innovation to come down in price and be more accessible to the entry level of the market and persons who may not have access to such excruciatingly high disposable income. So that's what all of my work is surrounding. Thanks.
Thank you, Pranav. You said I had said a lot that was not full, but I think I have missed out some things uh, in introducing you. So thanks for the introduction and welcome to the panel. And finally, we have Rishi Tandel, first year junior college at Xavier's College. Rishi, can you please unmute and introduce yourself?
Hello? Hello.
Renuka Mana Kanjilal. So request you to stay muted. Please do not unmute. Ha, Rishi?
We are not able to hear Rishi.
Is that Rishi? Sorry. No, but I remember seeing Rishi separately as well.
Yeah, Rishi Tandale login, right, Mira? Camera
Yeah,
is on.
yeah. Yeah, Rishi, are you able to hear us? You can go ahead with introducing yourself. He was speaking. Rishi, we are not able to hear you clearly. Are you able to hear us? You want to call him and check? Yeah. Oh, he's able to hear us. Rishi, we are not able to hear you. Is your mic working? Okay, you can go ahead and speak, Rishi. You can introduce yourself. No, the mic seems to have an issue, Rishi. You're speaking, but we are not able to hear you. We'll connect with you. So Rebecca will reach you and yeah. Rebecca, will you help me with this? Yeah, okay. Ah, okay. We'll probably take a minute for Rishi to uh, join us. You can take off the headphones and directly join with the speaker of the laptop, mic and speaker of the laptop. Yeah, Rishi, if you're able to hear us, you can disconnect the speaker and directly use your laptop. No, we are not able to hear you, Rishi. Yeah, Rebecca will connect with you, Rishi. She will help you out to join, right? Okay. While we wait for Rishi to get connected, probably I'll give him the context again when he joins us. I just wanted to set the context for the other panelists before we start with the set of questions that we had to understand their journeys. We are working with small children from classes 1 to 10 in this special schools for the blind. And what we find is very less number of children as such are able to take science and math beyond a certain class, and also the foundation in these subjects are not very strong for various reasons. And we also find that in our work that there are a lot of myths about visually impaired children learning these subjects which are very visual, right? And many of the special schools for the blind where we work, these subjects get exempted beyond a certain class. And many special schools do not have science and math in ninth and 10th or beyond. So with our interventions, we are bringing a change, about a change in all of these aspects where we are providing accessible resources, conducting teacher training for teachers to be enabled to teach the visually impaired, and also work with the school administrations to be aware of the possibilities that exist. And now, so much so that our children are now able to showcase science experiments on Science Day to sighted children themselves. And so the changes are happening. And what we now feel is that we have to provide them with good role models. And that's where we wanted to learn about your journeys. So the reason we have invited you all is that you have broken the stereotypes in many ways and gone ahead in becoming academically and professionally qualified, or on the way to do that. So the first question I would like to ask all of you, we'll take turns. I'll probably call out the person and they can give a short answer about that. Is that what challenges did you face in your education, your context of school education in particular, and how did you overcome them? Did you have sighted helpers, What were the tools used? Was your learning braille based or audio based? How was it for you, the school education? May I start with Yagnit, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Yagnit. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
So I was studying in India, and I was the education, like my school education was very, I would say it was not that good. I was allowed to take science. I did not drop out of any subjects, but I faced a lot of difficulties with regards to conducting experiments in science, uh, and then I was introduced to XRCVC, and they provided me a lot of training with regards to handling of various experimental devices, and then I was able to perform experiments almost independently, and this was, and also the most the most difficult aspect of performing any scientific experiments is reproducibility, and initially I was not able to do so, but then like I was trying my best, and I was also using various other aids. I would like, for example, if there is an experiment today, so I would be prepared like 3 days, 2 days in advance. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos, or with regards to my bachelor's, I would read papers on it, and then I would try and think what are the alternative ways in which which I could perform the experiments. The same applies now too, but now it's mostly here, like I am doing it independently, and I also mostly am working on wet lab plus computational approaches as well. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ignat. So you are presently working in the domain of plant molecular biology, where I believe there
Yes.
would be work with the microscope and looking at specimen samples. So you have devised ways of doing these using methods that are uh, amenable to you.
Yes, so basically, I don't do microscopy because actually I am not I don't specialize in microscopy, so I'm more towards actually, I'm more towards the understanding. I'm more towards CRISPR-Cas9 technology, or and I would rather say I'm more towards protein proteomic studies, metabolomics. So for that, I don't need a microscope, but I did undertake a lot of courses in microscopy at the University of Vienna, and so recently, like the University of Vienna invested a lot of grants on purchasing a lot of assistive technology, and with the aid of tactile diagrams, I'm able to comprehend the ultrastructure of a microscope up to fluorescent microscopy level as well.
Excellent, excellent. Thanks for that perspective. Thank you. And what about you, Nisha? So, how has your school journey been? And in terms of taking the STEM subject, science and math, which are quite visual, how did you navigate the path? And what were your primary sources of information to supplement the curricular materials?
Well, XRCVC was to a large extent helpful in providing the diagrams for both math and science until about 10th grade, I believe. That is when, after my 10th grade, I did drop sciences, but I continued on with maths, thinking that, I should have something challenging. Um and I would say to, I would also say that my mom, she did kind of push for me to pursue math and sciences, because to be honest, when you are making that decision, when you are let's say around 13 or 14 years, and you have to make that decision of which stream you want to choose, and you are faced with a lot of pressures, because on the one hand you know the options that will be open to you based on the stream that you choose, and also um you have a lot of pressure from schools saying that perhaps it would be easier for you to drop these subjects, or yeah, that was what I faced as well. And if I'm being very honest, I, due to the stress and due to just not knowing what to do in that moment, I almost dropped STEM subjects. But then my mom went and she intervened on my behalf, and she said maybe she's making a hasty decision due to stress. I would really, I would love to give some credit to my mom as well. Um,
Sure.
yeah, but that I feel is also an important thing that needs to be considered when when these children are making their decisions, because there are a lot of things that they need to think about, and sometimes it is too overwhelming.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. I think in terms of the support that you receive from the family, friends, and the teachers, I think it plays a very
yeah,
crucial role in making the decisions at these crucial points. Uh, Thanks for that perspective as well. I had a special question about that, but thanks for bringing that up right away. And now I would like to know about Pranav's school journey in terms of taking STEM subjects and how he navigated, given that you have the aspiration in computational photography and building a lot of assistive tech at the economical prices. Pranav, how did you navigate your school journey of curricular materials with for STEM subjects?
Thank you so much. I think I have been very lucky. Um, Unlike a lot of schools that push for students to drop STEM, mine pushed for me to take STEM, even
Okay,
when even when I may not have wanted to because I didn't like it. But um, back in I think grade 9, my school said basically that he should continue with science and mathematics because we think he can do it, and they provided a lot of the aids that were required. I think the most important thing that a lot of us tend to forget at times is the largest challenge for a visually impaired person in a lot of STEM subjects and contexts, that being images, right? For stuff like physics and mathematics.
right,
These images are essentially just slight abstractions for a theoretical concept. And if you take most images in physics, mathematics, and computer science, you can boil them down to a theoretical concept. You can describe a graph in words completely in mathematical terms. You can take a transformation of a circle and completely just theorize it with an equation. And so what my school did was they introduced me to the images. They took me through all the tactiles, the diagrams required. They made them, and then wherever they could, they allowed me. They gave me the training required to get the spatial awareness, such that I could work without the diagrams in the future, such that in a certain moment, if I did not need those diagrams, I could completely work just with theories, because in my mind I had the spatial understanding of how these concepts worked. I knew in theory how everything worked, and that actually helped in a big way, because in grade 11 I had a after taking the traditional STEM subjects, physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, computer science, and so on and so forth in grade 9 and 10. I actually took up a sort of a weird combination in grade 11 because I was part of A levels in Cambridge. I took up physics, math, computer science, and economics.
okay.
And so this spatial awareness and this understanding of every concept in a theoretical sense, of understanding of visual elements in a spatial sense in my mind, such that I could rebuild any image in my mind without having to feel it, allowed me to actually go through economics without having to consult a lot of tactiles on a day-to-day basis, and having
Okay.
to, revise such images, or revise tactiles, use a lot of other assistive aids to be able to just understand a simple economic concept. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So thanks for that, Pranav. In terms of your experience with STEM, this seems to be kind of a very different perspective where you were able to create these understandings in your mental map and use them for other subjects as well. That's very unique. Thank you for sharing that. Next, may I go to Bhuvika Agrawal and request you to share your student journey in terms of taking the STEM subjects and how you navigated the diagrams, the graphs, the equations, and the concepts. Over to you, Bhuvika.
Okay, so like till 8th standard we did have science as a compulsory subject. Uh, so that time also I was quite interested in science and particularly in computer science. So uh, during that time, the subjects were not very difficult. They were quite manageable with like my school's teachers' helps, and I used to have extra classes also, like private tuition after school. During ninth and 10th, we had an option if we had to like take science or commerce. So even that time, like I did not face any such thing as like you should drop science or take science. Like although I did face a little bit difficulty with maths during ninth and 10th, but even there my school teachers were quite supportive. They were willing to help me wherever I was stuck. And as for diagrams, so like even for diagrams, mainly XRCVC only used to provide me with tactile diagrams, and whatever was taught in the class, I used to get those diagrams from there, and my school teachers used to explain those diagrams to me during like after classes. Uh, so because like my 10th was online due to COVID, so uh, there I faced a bit of challenge
Okay.
studying. Uh, like so for that time actually, because since everything was online and you can't just understand diagram stuff
Correct.
like just by listening, you need someone to like teach you, like be next to you and make you
Correct.
feel stuff. So
Correct.
that was the only time when they exempted the diagram questions for me during the exam. Instead, they used to give me theory based questions.
Okay.
Uh, they used to like do that even in ninth, but then still like I used to feel that I should at least understand everything, even if it is a bit visual. But in 10th, it was completely exempted for me.
Okay.
Um, After my 10th, also I had a choice whether I had to continue with science or take something else.
Right.
And for this also, like initially I was very much hesitant to take up science in 11th and 12th because like no one really discouraged me for it, but it was like I was not very sure. I used to think that it will be very challenging because even my 11th grade was more than half of it was online only because of
Okay.
COVID.
Okay.
So that time also I thought that how will I do, but then with my parents' encouragement and even my school teachers, they never discouraged me. They were willing to help me only. So I decided to take up science and prepare for JEE, which is a
Okay.
very competitive exam.
Right.
BTech courses. So even preparing for JEE was quite a challenge for me because like I did not first of all I did not know about JEE before entering 11th. So
Okay.
after I got into 11th grade, I came to know about JEE and what is it about. So then since I said it was still COVID time, so we could not get a proper coaching as in offline classes or anything. So I
Okay.
used to only rely on online classes, and we got a private tutor. Even those classes used to be online only. Uh, so I tried to understand whatever I could, like the visual stuff, uh, verbally itself, because it was not very feasible to understand everything. Like I had a very good teacher. He helped me with every concept in like physics, chemistry, math. Even my
That's
school
wonderful.
teachers were helping me
Okay.
understand. Uh, like they were doing their best, but since like it was online, so it was
Right.
challenging. Uh, so that was about it, and I used to do a lot of self study also.
So
There
you
were I
cleared.
had gotten
Sorry. Please
Yeah,
go
so I
ahead.
had gotten accessible books for NCRT also. And like since I had continued in the same school, which was ICSE board, so it was a bit challenging to study both the syllabuses because
Right.
ISC syllabus is a bit different than JEE. Uh, but then still, like during my 12th grade, everything opened up. Luckily, I started to
Right.
go to school again, so things started to like I started to understand stuff more, and it
Okay.
felt a little less challenging since I had to cover up both 11th and 12th then during that time.
Right.
So like I somehow did it with my school teachers help and my tuition teachers and my parents, so they really motivated me because you need a lot of motivation because it's a
Yeah.
very competitive exam. So I had like I did clear JEE mains, and I had given JEE advanced also, but I could not qualify that exam. But
Okay.
I had gotten a decent rank in JEE mains, and due to that, I had gotten admission in Triple IT Lucknow. So even in my college, I don't since many of the colleges which offer BTech, they have common subjects in their first year of studies, which
Right.
are like
Right.
physics, chemistry, and all. But luckily for my college, since uh, they only had computer science related branches, so there are no other subjects unrelated to computer science.
Right.
So
Right.
even now, my college is very supportive, and they were very supportive since the very beginning. Even if I did require help, they do help me even now. So that's about
Excellent.
it.
Kudos to you. Kudos to you for attempting. Anybody, I think, who attempts JEE main, JEE advanced, uh, deserves a round of applause. And doing that during the COVID time, and then resuming to catch up on 11th and 12th, and then going ahead and doing all this. It's really, really impressive, Bhuvika. Thank you for sharing that journey with us. Are we able to
Thank
have
you.
Rishi?
You can check he's connected on the call.
He's
Rishi,
connected
you
on the
can
call.
speak.
Okay. Rishi, are you able to speak?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion, Rishi. I hope we can connect this way. Are the people on the call able to hear Rishi when he speaks this way?
Yes, I'm able to hear you, but can you able to hear me?
Yeah, 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 we can hear you. Right. So, Rishi, yeah, please
My
introduce
name is
yourself.
Rishi Tandel, and I am currently studying in FYGC Class 11, St. Xavier's College, Science stream. So, till 10th, I was studying in Swami Vivekanand International School, and I scored 87% in 10th board SSC.
Okay.
And I hadn't take any exemptions in math, science, and all. Means,
Okay.
for example, in school, for the disabled child, all the students having exemption like maths drop karo, science drop. So they were taking lower math and physiology, hygiene like subjects.
Okay.
But I prefer that we shouldn't take any exemption. What happens if we are blind? We can do anything. So, like for diagram related stuff, teachers were helping me. Like they were making the diagram on the book through pen or something,
Okay.
and they were showing me. Or else that parchment sheet is there, which is like plastic, like geometry. So they were making on that, and they were showing me that this is the part of the diagram, and this is in the book. And for related sum solvings and all in math and science, I was doing in the laptop. So they were checking my work every time,
Okay. Okay.
and they were assisting me that your this part is having mistakes, so you should cover this part. Now, for example, like normal students studies, whatever normal students were studying, I was also studying the same.
Okay.
Means like for example, only my checking work was different. Like normal students show in book, but my checking was done by laptop. So
Okay.
and related to book completing, like journals and all. Also, I have to give the printout. Means whatever I written on the laptop, I have to give them printout as both don't accept no like laptop stuff.
Right.
That's why. And assignment, even my parents even don't know that what are the assignments, what are the stuff I submitted or not. They don't even know that. Means assignment is came, I am doing on the laptop. I just give to my mother, mom, please take this printout, and I submit it.
Okay.
Means whatever studies since fifth standard, I took training in XRCVC of 1 month on the fourth standard vacation. When fourth standard ended, and in the vacation, I took training.
Okay.
So in fifth standard to 10th standard, I did all my studies independently. Means only I and my tuition and school teachers, only they were taking my orals and all. My
Excellent.
parents don't even know anything, what I am studying, how I am studying. Only they just know my performance, that my studies are nice.
That's very commendable. Thank you, Rishi.
And
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. You please go ahead. You had something more. Please go ahead.
yeah, I was just telling, especially my sir, GD sir, his name is, he's my math sir in class 10. Geometry part he was teaching. So I got very less marks in geometry in first unit, as actually I was not knowing the pattern, that how questions are coming and all. So I got very less marks. And theorem, especially I was not able to know, yeah, how we learn theorems. So how we can learn. Because in ninth standard also, I don't even know that how we can learn theorem and how type of question is coming. Like for example, there is one theorem, BPT theorem. So in exam, I thought it will come, write the BPT theorem. But I was not knowing that there will be a first statement of theorem given by them, and we have to write it. So JD sir explained me all these things. And one in PTM, my parents were very impressed that how my son will do. Then JD sir told that you all the things you can leave on me, he will do it. I know he will climb colors and he can do it.
Excellent.
And my JD sir and there, my Kenny sir also, he was my English teacher. He also supported me. Means entire school supported me a lot. Means I thought that I am normal child like others only.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think the only way you are all special is the hard work that you put, and otherwise, I think you're excelling at par with the sighted children as well. That is what I'm able to understand from these discussions that we have
Yeah.
had, and. So the one thing that I wanted to check with all of you is because one thing that we try to do with our children is to reinforce braille reading and writing. So because we feel that that is one script.
Actually, ma'am, braille reading.
Yeah.
Now, if I do any work on braille, so I have to read all the stuff which I wrote. But in laptop, what is the case? Teachers can even understand what I written. Yeah, but I was still doing on braille my work. Fifth standard to seventh standard, I don't even know how the math is done in computer. So I was doing all the stuff in braille.
Okay. So Rishi, thank you for
But
that.
from
And
seven, online classes were there in seventh.
Okay.
So from online classes journey, I started my computer learning, means how the maths is done and all.
Great, great. What about Yagnit and others? Pranav, Bhuvika, what about your braille reading and writing journey? Is it continuing, or till which class were you involved? And do you still own a braille reader? Do you still catch up on reading on braille readers? Would like to know a little bit about that as well.
So
I
yeah,
was
can I go
reading for
ahead?
braille reading till class 6.
Rishi, you just let Rishi know that we are proceeding with others. Yeah, Yagnit.
Okay, so yeah, so exact for me, I'm proficient in Braille, but I am not proficient in like one word, single word contractions. I know Braille, like I can understand simple Braille and math code,
Okay.
because for me, what is useful nowadays is usually computers, and also instrument, like we have fluorescent microscopy, we have confocal microscopy, and we control everything via computers, and then we get the output on the computer. So for me, it wouldn't make sense to read Braille, but I need Braille to understand the labels of the tactile diagram because they are always in Braille. So I need to know at least basic Braille to understand how the labelings are.
Right. Thanks for that, Yagnit. And when did you get onboarded with your digital literacy journey in terms of starting to use the screen
Uh,
reader? When would that been?
I used to do it before, like when I was in third, fourth. I learned it privately, but then I started doing it really uh, hardcore computational work when I started at my, I would say, 11th grade or 12th grade, something like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. What about you, Pranav? How often do you read Braille now? Do you read it at all? And what tools do you use? And when did you get onboarded onto the digital medium?
So thanks. So Braille is a lot of people think because I am a computer science student, Braille actually is not important. But actually, to me, Braille is something that is of the utmost importance. I started learning Braille at the age of 3, 2.5 to 3, and I still use it. It is according to me the single best uh, way of reading spatial text. That is to say, text that needs continual referencing. So if I'm reading or solving a long mathematical equation or something, it is easy to read in Braille. Now, of course, I use a laptop today. Um, so I have a brailler at home, but I rarely use it. In fact, it's kind of funny, I only use it to print or to write braille or make braille playing cards, because those are excruciatingly and just complete ridiculously expensive online. So
Okay.
I just make them on my own. But I have a braille display. I use it because when I code, first of all, when I code, it's easier to read in braille. I can quickly skim read. I can read look at my indentation levels in my code, or I can just quickly skim read parts of my code in Braille. And it's also useful when referencing some mathematical equations or anything that I'm solving in physics and stuff, because it is easy to refer multiple lines on a braille display. I own a multi-line display, so it's easy to look at this stuff. In fact, this was one that my school loaned me for a while. um, and like Yakit said, I think braille and diagrams very important. That's how tactile diagrams are given to me. That's how they've always been given to me for as long as I can remember. And it's just very helpful to have braille labels on tools, and then braille labels on even day-to-day items that I do. But then, of course, in STEM, it's diagrams and it's a braille display. I even write braille. In fact, the keyboard on my phone is a virtual braille keyboard. It's available on most devices, and it's
Oh,
just it it's something that I find easier to type on. Sometimes, if I don't want to type out notes on my laptop or, do some work on my laptop, don't want to type on my phone, I use a Braille keyboard there. Um, so
That's
Braille is
great.
very important for me. Um, Regarding your question on digital literacy, it was pretty early. My school realized actually that Braille with paper was not going to be a sustainable. They foresaw that Braille with paper wasn't going to be
Right.
sustainable in the
Right.
future. So they started teaching me how to type on a computer from the second grade itself. Of course, I
Okay.
was using Braille at that time in my studies, but then this was something that they were doing parallelly. And then I got my first laptop at the age of 11. And
Okay.
uh, not long after, I think just in grade 7 was when um, we started making the if only gradual move to
Okay.
uh, using a computer. So we started with text-based subjects, and then we went to stuff like biology, chemistry, and slowly, I think it was grade 8 when we realized that writing math in Braille with paper and then transcribing it was not becoming sustainable in terms of time.
Okay.
That pushed us to switch to using LaTeX and math on a computer, and now that is what I do all the time. I've been able to write entire research papers on my computer, and it is the single biggest tool that I own, or the most important tool that I own to date. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing those perspectives. It's very heartening to note that you still you advocate the use of learning of Braille. Many of the students here we engage with also engage with Braille, and we are trying to increase their Braille literacy as well, work on their Braille literacy as well. And what about you, Bhuvika? What has been your experience with learning Braille, using Braille, and do you still own any of these devices for Braille reading? And when did you get onboarded onto digital literacy, and how has it helped you?
Uh, yeah, so I had started learning Braille when I was 4 or 5 years old. Um, and during initial years of my school, I had solely relied on Braille only for reading and writing, like from first grade to fifth grade, I guess. Um, so when I was in sixth grade, that's when I had switched to a laptop for my formal education. Like, or I had already learned using a laptop when I was in third or fourth grade. But sixth grade was when I used it for my education purposes.
Okay.
Um, and like learning how to, like, initially I used to scan all my books with a scanner and read that way, and
Okay.
even learned how to type maths on a laptop. Like there was a workshop in XRCVC itself. They had
Okay.
taught me later. So
Okay.
that was the time when I had moved to laptop, and now I don't really, like, I don't use Braille at all, because, like, except for in daily life, like in elevators they have uh,
Right.
roll numbers labeled in Braille and all. So like I can still understand it, like not completely, like just a few numbers and all I can still understand, but I don't
Right.
use it as intensively as I used to do.
Right.
Now like I'm completely on laptop only.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Bhuvika. What about you, Nisha? Interested in knowing your perspective as well about Braille, and how you have been when you were introduced, and you still are you in touch with reading Braille or writing Braille, and when did you get onboarded to digital literacy, and how has it helped you, Nisha?
Yeah, I believe I started to learning Braille when I was about 3. It's really hard to remember when exactly,
Okay,
but yeah, when I was very young,
very
basically.
young. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I also well, I was in the same school as Bhuvika. So
Okay.
I also had done this thing where for the first until fifth grade, I was completely on Braille. I would write my notes in class on
Okay.
Braille. There would unfortunately what would happen was, and there were obviously there were some really really sweet, really helpful teachers who were taking the trouble of doing all this, but one or two of them had even tried to learn Braille
Okay.
themselves, and they would write it using like a slate and the stylus, and they would write, and then maybe they would try to prepare some of the book chapters for me, because it was a lot.
Right.
Some of them
Right.
my mom was doing some of them. That was the time before we uh, knew about XRCVC.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was my mom was doing some of them, the teacher was doing some of them, and then we would frequently it would happen that she would ask me to read over it and see if she has made any mistakes.
Mistakes.
And then
Okay.
also when I was giving exams, I would have to read out my entire all of my answers to the teacher, because this was only 1 year where the teacher tried to learn Braille. But
Okay.
then after that, I would still have to read out all of my answers to the teacher saying I have written this.
Okay.
Um, I was very particular when I was small. I would say like this is the spelling mistake that I have made. Um, every single thing. Um, but yeah, as that was going on, I also got training to use the laptop, to use screen readers. I think when I was about 8, it was from, I believe, Voice Vision used to offer training at that time.
Okay.
That's where I started learning. And then afterwards, well, then I moved to XRCVC. They also helped with, to the point where also I started using a laptop from 6th grade onwards.
Great. So now, do you, on a daily basis, do you have
Now,
any connection?
uh,
Do you read Braille in print or through any readers, assistive tech?
yes, it sometimes I try to just read it just to keep my mind active, because maybe not for like study purposes, but I just feel like uh it just helps me visualize things sometimes even better, because what tends to happen is if you can get too used to reading with a screen reader, no matter what the speed is at, sometimes you might just zone out because you're so used to just hearing words.
Right.
And if you're like taking the time to slow down and think about what you're doing, because depending on what your speed is like with Braille,
Right.
um it does kind of help you sometimes. I would not say to rely completely on any one thing,
Okay.
um but it is useful to have both. It is useful to have knowledge of both of them.
Yeah, and I was also interested in knowing you play classical guitar and the piano. So what about the
Yes.
notes? What about the notes that you need for playing these?
Hmm.
How do you read those? Do you use are there Braille notation, musical notations? I'm not aware,
That
so I'm asking.
yeah, that is again. So when I was very young, when I was 8, that is when I started playing piano. And my teacher was used to obviously sighted students. They read as they play, and
Okay.
they read the notation. They're looking at
Right. Right.
what they're doing as they're playing.
Right.
And she, well, we did look at Braille music. First of all, it can feel very tedious because of the script, the way it is. Your, let's say, Western classical notation, you have like C, D, E. So your C is basically your dots for D in Braille
Right.
is your C. Your dots for E is your D. That can really confuse kids, I think, at a young age. I
Okay.
was also pretty confused.
Okay.
And I was just not progressing. And well, what the teacher didn't understand was that now generally a lot of instruments you need both your hands to play. You
Huh.
cannot put one of your hands on the page and read it as you are playing.
Correct.
So that was something that we needed to learn, that she needed to learn as well. um and so I do have a pretty good ear, I would say. I do, because I've been playing for over 12 years now. I do have
Right.
a pretty good ear, and that has been developed over time. So I
Right.
had completely switched to playing by ear at some point. Now, though,
Awesome.
I'm realizing that classically, classical guitar especially, the pieces are like 7 or 8 minutes long. They
Right.
have sections, they have subsections. This is very old, like 17, 1800 century stuff. Um,
Right.
and for this, while I do largely depend on learning the notes by ear, my teacher sits with me sometimes in the lesson, and she'll say where I need to find them, on which string, on which fret, and
Right. Right.
all of that. It can also take up a lot of time. So I would say that it might help you progress faster if you're learning. I also get frustrated quite often, and I think, okay, maybe I should just like go through some of this on my own and try to learn. You cannot learn it simultaneously. You
Right.
have to read maybe a few lines beforehand. You have to commit them to memory, and then you have to practice repeatedly until you have
Okay.
it in your memory. You cannot
Okay.
do both of the things simultaneously, unfortunately. But it is good if someone feels interested in just like learning at a faster pace. It might help.
Right. No, hats off to your dedication towards your passion. And I'm sure you're going to go way ahead and create masterpieces yourself too. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for that perspective. And now the next question I have, I'm actually eating into the audience question time, but I have two or three questions that I wanted to ask everyone. Probably we'll start with Yagnit again. What are the assistive tech that you use on a daily basis? Again, a good quick listing that probably are things around you for your day-to-day activities.
Um, okay, so I recently have switched to Apple's home system for using like so I have automated my room like apartment into like I have everything automated, so I just use voice commands, and
Okay,
for and for labeling things I use the Sonic labeler. So I
okay,
bought recently from Europe, and also I use a laptop with NVDA, but
okay,
I am very eager to learn JAWS as well, and uh,
okay,
that's it. And I use a lot of computer aided technology, for example, because I mostly work on computer data because I'm not specializing in microscopy. So for
right.
me, I can do most of the work on a computer using bioinformatics, and uh, lab work is done with the help of a sighted
Okay, okay.
guided lab partner. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ignis. What about you, Rishi? What are the tools that you are using? You are in grade 11. So the laptop is one important tool for you. What others do you use on a daily basis for your education? Rishi, are you able to hear me?
Yeah. I'm able to do.
Yeah.
So in that was studying in laptop only related to practical stuff like chemistry lab and all. It was just listening the instructions given by man.
Okay.
So for example, like how to make an OS, how to present the PPT in the group 01. Like for example, I was listening the instructions, and related to practical exams, I was having Viva. Instead of performing, I was having Viva.
Okay.
So how questions like define molarity, how we can perform this experiment, how we will make an OS, like questions they were asking.
Okay. Okay. And in terms of the assistive tech, do you have a brailler or a braille reader? Do you have anything like that for your reading, for your curricular reading, Rishi? You have,
It
okay.
comes even in online classes video. So because of that, I have to perform all my things in laptop only because teachers are not able to understand in braille. They're not able to understand, right?
Right.
So like projects or anything, I write in laptop only. And for example, like this is the project, like you have to draw the things, you have to make a model. So how I will make? I need a sighted person, but there is no value of that. When sighted person will do, then how I will understand the meaning of project? So I told them, okay, man, see, man, this model making is not possible for me. You can please give me the topic on which I can search an information and write on the laptop because this person will do for me is no value. I will not understand the meaning of the object project. So ma'am also took me and he told me that I will provide you one topic and I will give you the point that how you will write the information.
Okay. Okay. So you have adapted the assessment process as well to suit the needs. That's great to know, Rishi. Thank you. What about you, Pranav? In terms of the assistive tech that you use on a day-to-day basis, can you give us some listing of the tools that you use?
Okay, so like Yagnit, I've actually just recently, very recently, switched over to Apple's home automation system. So that's a HomePod
Okay.
and stuff
Okay.
for my room as well. Um, but I lean actually even heavier into that ecosystem. I have a MacBook that I use for most of my work. I also carry around a Windows computer. That's what I generally travel with. That is
Okay.
the computer that I use. So I also, for context, I am a sound designer. I
Okay.
design soundscapes. I produce some basic music digitally as well. So I do all of that on my Windows computer. I use NVDA as my screen reader of choice on Windows, and of course on Mac it's VoiceOver because that's loaded onto a MacBook.
Okay.
The reason for the Mac, by the way, is just because, well, most of my computer science software and the tools that I use, for me they just work a bit better on a Mac, and because
Okay.
computational photography actually requires a lot of perusal of data.
Okay.
I need to go through a lot of data. I just find that I'm able to do that a little quicker on a Mac.
Okay.
And also because as a content creator I often have to edit my own videos,
Okay.
and this video editing is a little more advanced, so I do things like color grading, visual overlays and stuff, and all of this happens on a Mac.
Okay.
And I mean I could do it on Windows, but it's just easier and a little more streamlined on a MacBook. um,
Okay.
so that's what I use. I also, because I am a hobbyist photographer, I generally do phone photography.
Okay.
So I have two devices. I have a Galaxy S22 that is my primary phone, and I also carry around an iPhone. This is the phone that I currently use is an iPhone 16 Pro, but I kind of change every year because I need to get the newer camera for YouTube videos. And other than this, there is also, as someone just put in the chat, nice image description software. So that's Be
Right.
My AI, Seeing AI. These applications, they help me in everything from image description to getting a better understanding of lighting, even than what my eyes can give me. And finally,
Great.
because I also carry around at times a DSLR
Okay.
for certain images and videos, I have a bunch of these are called image. They basically convert image to sound data. So they take
Okay.
all of the pixels and they convert them to different waves, different sine
Okay.
waves and triangle waves and square waves with different frequencies and at different amplitudes.
Okay.
based on the bit depth of the image and the color depth of that particular or the the how much that particular color is in that image.
Okay.
So that is something that's useful. And then other than that, there's of course the daily is there's a braille display. There is all the stuff I use for cooking. So that's a microwave that's auditory, and an oven that's auditory, and an induction stove and all that,
Okay.
and a cane. So all of
And a
this.
king. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that listing. What about you, Bhuvika? What are the assistive tech apart from the laptop that you use frequently in your day to day?
Um, yeah, so like laptop is obvious, like laptop with NVDA
Yeah.
and phone. And apart from that, for mobility, I use a cane. And um, like apart from that, I don't use much because like um, my field is computer science itself, so I just laptop is sufficient enough for coding. And um, for other like for some stuff I do use some AI tools for image description like Viva AI and um, other applications. But apart from all these, like for now, like these are sufficient for me.
Jesus. And may I ask, what is your favorite programming language, Bhuvika?
Um, there's no like yeah. I
And why?
do in
And why?
so during like school I had learned Java, and now I'm currently programming in C++ and Python for machine learning. So like favorite would be Python because it's obviously easier to understand. It is more written in like it's more like English. But
Right.
I mainly program in C++ also because it's faster. It provides many standard libraries um,
Very true.
for faster computation, and most competitive programmers also use C++. And
Correct. Correct.
so I use C++.
That's nice. What about you, Nisha? In terms of your assistive tech use, what are your top five assistive tech that you vouch for?
Yeah, well, laptop with NVDA, sometimes JAWS depending on what I'm
Okay.
using.
Okay.
And my phone, an Android phone with a talkback. I have a white cane. I have a braille display. And also for anyone interested, you have to. It is a little might not be helpful to explain in detail right now, but there is Muse Score through which you can uh, load like the scores that you want to read, and then you can read them with your braille display. Or there
Okay.
is something called Sao My Braille, SAOMAI. It is a
Okay.
Vietnamese software. They
Okay.
also have yeah, compatibility with that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. So there's a question in the chat as well that any users of smart cane or smart glasses here from the panel?
I will take this.
Uh, sure.
And if that's okay, I'm sure the others
Yeah, yeah,
also have
please.
something to add, but I would like to take this because I have done extensive research into smart cane and smart glasses over the past 3 years.
Okay.
Um, I got a few companies. I don't think it is extremely appropriate to name any of them right now because of contracts that I've had to sign in the past and stuff. NDA clauses and stuff. Which companies these are, but I had a few of them send devices to me for review, and the result was uh, I don't see myself using any of these, and I find that most people it's not a very utilitarian thing to most. And
Okay.
here is why. Well, first of all, for the smart cane, most smart cane designs today, that is to say a cane with a sensor that vibrates. This is an ultrasonic sensor. uh, um, so um, sorry, my screen reader was speaking. It's a cane with an ultrasonic sensor that vibrates as you get close to an object. They are contrary to naming, not actually smart, because all they do is tell a user that there is something in front of them. It is not
Okay.
actually telling you whether it is an obstacle to be avoided or anything. It doesn't give you any information about the nature. And thus, what I found is smart canes are actually very anxiety inducing because they're
Okay.
just constantly vibrating. And furthermore, given especially this is more a case of the way canes are designed in India than in the world, but I will still mention it. The way that canes are designed in India, which is to say primarily out of aluminum,
Okay.
vibrating smart cane sensors actually can cause hand injuries because
Oh.
that vibration is very concentrated. It's sent right up through the shaft of the cane into your wrist, and it
Oh,
can
okay.
actually cause a repetitive wrist strain injury. And it actually happened
Okay.
to me as I was testing a smart cane as well.
Okay.
Now, regarding smart glasses, now what these are is that these are glasses with a camera mounted to one side of them, and this camera is able to do some basic OCR and just read out some text, maybe do some image description. Now the problem with this is, well, a, glasses are ergonomic pieces. These are things that you wear, and at least for me, I don't speak for everyone, but at least for me, having a camera mounted to the side, it looks very out of place. Glasses need to
Okay.
be some things that look good. They're a fashion statement. They need to, if at the very least be very seamlessly integrated into my life. And right now what happens is, well, a, they have a sensor on the side that makes them look very bulky. This is not durable because there's not enough weight balance on the glasses, so these are easy to
Okay.
snap, and
Okay.
there's a cable running through them. And finally, to top it all off, they're not very accurate. So the camera, the lens that's put on these cameras is not very good. The sensor is very small and low res. And so what
Okay.
happens is that the information that I get out of it is actually much less accurate than if I were to pull out my phone. And
Huh.
the icing on the cake is that all the output and the control for these glasses is taken care of through the phone. So anyway, I have to pull my phone out. It's not like I can operate the glasses with by even if my phone is, say, in a pocket or a bag. So
Right.
at that point, what I found is I might as well pull my phone out and use the more superior camera to take a
Okay.
picture and do that. And if I really want to wear glasses, which I personally do, I can get something that looks much better. The only exception to this, and it's very sad because it's not available in India, the only exception to these is the Ray-Ban Metas, because these are glasses that are have integrated the camera very seamlessly. You cannot really see it at all. It
Right.
looks and feels like a pair of sunglasses. It
Wow.
honestly looks really good, and the camera is very high resolution. It works with voice control. It is very accurate, and it's got speakers in the glasses. It pairs to your phone, but you don't need to pull it out. And to
Okay.
top it all off, technically speaking, the prices of the Ray-Ban Meta is technically around 15,000, or I'll put it in universal currency, around $200 less than most offerings that we have in India. The
Okay.
problem though there is that they don't ship to India. So if you want to get it, you need to either have someone bring it down from the US or import them. So this is why I don't use them, and I don't recommend most to use smart glasses and smart canes in the current market. They are
Okay.
obviously subject to change in the future. Thanks.
Sure, sure. That was quite comprehensive for Pranav, and thanks for that. Yagnit and others, do you have any perspective about the smart cane or smart glasses that you would like to add to? Okay. If not, I realize we are running a
Yeah,
little
can you
out of.
hear me?
Yeah, 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 Yagnit. Please go ahead.
Okay, so for me, I also would like to agree. I also agree to what Pranav mentioned because we are right now in an era where technology is there, but for example, smart glasses. I wouldn't wear glasses to, like just for camera because I also, like him, use the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And for me, it's much easier to pull out my phone and use the advanced Apple Intelligence, which is available in Europe right now. I can use that instead of using a smart glass to tell me what is around.
Okay.
And
Okay.
also, smart cane, the same problem is there with regards to the smart cane, that it just vibrates, but it doesn't tell me what exactly is it, or which angle is it, or where exactly is it.
Right.
And that's
Right.
a yeah, that's a big problem.
Right.
Meera, this is Chandrasekhar here.
Bhuvika and Nisha, do you have any perspective about the smart cane or the smart glasses?
Yeah, like I have not used any smart glasses, but in smart can like I also agree that in India, especially where places are very much crowded, smart cane would just vibrate constantly, and it would be very much inconvenient for anyone. So I don't use a smart cane. I just use a normal white cane.
Okay.
And I have no
Okay.
experience with smart glasses. I can't comment on that.
Sure. Sure. Before I conclude, I would like to ask one question after which I would like to open it to the audiences as well. Uh, they say that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So I really wanted to know what motivates you in the journey of doing what you do with such passion. So if we can just go around with the panelists, and also probably one aspect of our motivation also comes from being surrounded by motivating people. So the role that your family, some of you spoke about it earlier. But if we can conclude this discussion with each of you talking about what motivates you and who motivates you, and who are all your support system helping you out in this journey that you are in. We'll probably start with Nisha.
Yes, so as I said, my mom, very, very important person for me. It's also been over the years, the teachers that I've had, despite their initial doubts that, like it's probably best for you to drop STEM subjects. They didn't discourage me after I decided I'm going to do it anyway. They did not discourage me. And there were many private there were many private lessons that they also gave me, because for the time before boards, for example, you have holidays for, I mean, at least we had holidays for a few weeks. So they called me to school, and they gave me lessons in the areas which I was weak. So
Right.
those were helpful. So also just other, you see other people doing these things. You talk to friends of yours who might
Right.
also have a visual impairment, and you see that they are um still going ahead, and they're also, yeah, they also help you a lot,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
by their own approach to things.
Right. Right. Thank you so much, Nisha. Bhuvika, what motivates you, and how do you keep yourself motivated, and who are your support system?
Uh, the thing that motivates me, like, so as I said that initially I was uh, a bit demotivated for taking science and STEM subjects after 10th. But the thing that motivated me to keep going was not anything else, but like the path that will open up for other visually impaired students going forward. So
Excellent.
that motivated me because there are like very few who actually take up STEM after 10th also, and um,
Right.
even in that, very few go for competitive exams and actually are able to get the support system to crack them and to do something.
Right.
Uh, so I wanted to be that for few like some visually impaired students going forward who are interested. Uh, my support system, like obviously my family, my mother especially, uh,
Right.
since obviously since my childhood, she has been there, and even my father, he
Right.
was the one who constantly motivated me when I felt demotivated during my JE preparation.
Okay.
My school teachers, they helped me a lot, especially like in 11th and 12th. Before my 12th boards, like they had organized classes for like anyone who had doubts. So I used to
Right.
go there and they used to help me a lot. And even my private tutors who I had for JE, they also motivated me very much, helped me in every way. And even in the visually impaired community, like my biggest role model is Aditi Shah. I don't know, like she is in USA only. She's uh, in Microsoft,
Okay.
senior applied scientist. So she
Okay.
was the one who taught me how to use a computer, and like
Wow.
she is the one who I know her since a very young age. So she has
Okay.
been my constant role model, and even now she motivates me and she inspires me a lot.
Excellent. And I think after listening to you, I'm sure that we are all motivated, and we share this with the students. They are going to find you as their role model as well. Thank you for that, Bhuvika. What about you, Yagnit? What motivates you? What keeps you going? And who are your support system?
So for me, being a molecular plant biologist, what motivates me is Jennifer Doudna, Maria Sklodowska-Curie,
Okay.
Barbara McClintock. They motivate me in a way that, like in those times, it was so difficult for women to do science. It was so difficult for them to study. Look, Maria Sklodowska-Curie, she studied in a van in Warsaw.
Okay.
So I feel that if they could do it with limited funding, limited finances, we have everything at our disposal. Why can't we do? And
Right.
also, whenever I see the climate change, for example, today we are not. It's so sad to say right now. In Austria, I'm right now based in Vienna. We have never seen temperatures rising 19 degrees in March, and right now it's just almost like mid of March, and it's 19 degrees, which is not very usual of Austria. And also the
Okay.
same problem is in Sweden and Finland, which are my areas of research. And if we are not going to save the world, irrespective of our disability, irrespective of what status, what strata of society we are coming, who is going to save the world? And there are
Absolutely.
failures. Life is never like when you climb a mountain, you just don't climb up. You sometimes have to also, you come across a valley where you have to climb down. And also, like, I take motivation from a whale. Whale never swims in shallow water. It always tries and it always plunges down in deep water. So somebody
Right.
has to take the challenge and somebody has to be. And my aim is that the very Stockholm City Hall where I went once as a tourist, I would like to be felicitated by the Nobel Prize Committee, and I want to be the next Jennifer Doudna inventing something in CRISPR technology or something in discovering new varieties of wild blueberries which are very close to my heart. So that's what keeps me
Amen.
motivating.
Amen to that, and as I would say, tatastu, and may that happen, and we would all join you in those celebrations again. Thank you so much for sharing that. What about you, Pranav? What motivates you? What keeps you going? And what is the support system that helps you do this?
I think I'll start with the support system. Thank you. It is my family who, I mean, I've been surrounded by so many people. I'm very privileged in that sense. From my family who found out or who made sure that I knew that my blindness wasn't a liability, but rather an opportunity, an asset, to who I am. To my teachers who went out of their way to be creative and teach concepts to me in a way that I could get it, whether I liked it or not. Um, Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. To my mentors who made sure that I knew I had to. Well, first of all, to my friends, to my mentors who made sure I told my stories, and to my friends who made sure, who helped me write them. I think everyone around me has motivated me in such a way. And as for what motivates me, um, I'll go back to something my dad said that really defines the way I work. We were working
Right.
on this navigation system, research project, and I was discussing it with him,
Okay.
and he put it this way. He said, Pranav, um, you should never settle for for a job that is just giving you a life with stable income.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Pranav, you should be the person laying down the groundwork for the next renaissance and generational impact. For
Awesome.
me, the thing that motivates me is to know that someone is able to do what they enjoy. Something I have done is enable to do someone to do
Right.
something that they enjoy without having a barrier in their way that is wasting their time. I think this applies, this helps me do everything from my computational photography work to my research to even as a teacher. In
Right.
fact, I just came to this panel after spending a day teaching at my school. Such things, this is, the fact that the work that I am able to do now might, 5, 10, 50 years down the line, change the number of students who are motivated and are motivated and able to take STEM subjects or whatever subject of their choice, not because they have to, but
Right.
just because they find it interesting and for no other reason, are able
Right.
to go to any academy, are able to work under, are not limited by the society but only by what they enjoy doing. This is what drives me to do basically everything that I do, from my work at UDOT to my YouTube work to actually repeating grade 11 just because I wanted to get into Stanford and Caltech this year.
Okay.
And finally, I think it's important to mention um, what has motivated me the most today, in fact, is this group that we're with, all the panelists, Yagnit, Nisha, Bhuvika, Rishi, and every teacher, every person who has taken the time out to attend this session, because this is a testament to something much larger. We've got panelists here who have fought through a lot to get to where they are, to get the accolades that they completely deserve.
Right.
Paving the way for a better STEM world. And we've got people who have taken out time to sit in here and listen, and that shows that we are all passionate and interested to make a world that is more accessible for those who want to do a subject, not because they have to. And I think that is something that makes me optimistic about where we are headed in the next few years, and it completely has made my month. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we are actually privileged to have this panel discussion today. And I'll now request Rishi to. Uh, oh, okay. Rishi's got disconnected. Probably we will have him. Yeah, he's connected. Yeah. So Rishi, we just wanted to know what motivates you and who's your support system before we formally
Um,
close the panel discussion. Uh,
ma'am, I'm sorry, but I have to leave right now.
yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah, Nisha.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining the panel
Yeah, yeah.
discussion. Thank you so much.
Sure,
Yeah.
no
I
problem.
just
Thank you
wanted
as
to
well.
give Rishi also the opportunity to talk about
Right.
this.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, my mom and dad have
Right.
my mom and dad with me.
Mira,
So
we can't
sometimes I
hear
feel
you.
demotivated with my friends. Because of my friends, I feel demotivated. Once a day, that was my farewell day actually. Can stand it.
Okay. Is it better now, Sylvia?
Yeah, what's that?
Slightly.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Rishi. Go ahead.
So actually, once nothing was happened, I asked him that what game you are playing. So he told that you are completely blind. You are a failure in your life. You will do nothing in your life and all. So when I literally got demotivated, but my mom and dad told let me say whatever he will say, let it be. you will do in your life. We know that. And my mom and dad supports me always. Like whatever decision that is, they do not discourage me at all. Like for example, I took science because I wanted to actually B.Tech engineering. So
Okay.
they supported me.
Excellent, excellent, Rishi. So I'm sure that the community has to become more sensitized and aware to motivate everybody around, not just people with disabilities, but to be a pillar of support for each other in many ways. So I think the communities as such have some learning to do. But today's panel discussion has been so enriching to me, and I think everybody who has attended this, I would probably, if it is okay with the panelists, to take one question from the panel, from the audience. I'm not sure. We have already extended by 5 minutes, and people have joined from abroad. So if there is any other question, one question, Sylvia, would you like to unmute and say a word to the panelists? She's the executive director of Vision Empower. Sylvia?
Uh, no, I don't have any question, but I'm in complete awe of this panel, and it's been a great hour and a half. Really, very thrilled to have all of you, and you guys give us the courage and the motivation to really go forward and make sure that there are many more Yagnits and Pranavs and Nishas and Rishis. So yeah, so kudos, guys, and we are there. Please, you do reach out to us, and we'll try and see in whichever way we can support you in your journey. We'll try and do that. And you really inspire us to make sure that there are we are in if we can do whatever we can to build the kind of support that you all need, and the others who are there who need it, we will do everything we can. So thank you so much, team, and it's been a great 1.5 hours of listening to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. Supriya, are you there? And she's the co-founder of Vision Empower. Would you like to address the panel?
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you so much to all of you. First of all, thank you, Mira, for a wonderfully moderated discussion with the
Thank you.
children all over the world. And thank you, all of you. At least three of you I remember as little children who came to the first hackathon at IIIT Bangalore. Pranav, you developed the hangman, and I remember Bhuvika's no Nisha's, I don't know who it was, beatboxing. It was all lovely. So yeah, I remember all those lovely days, and I think you guys, we knew then itself that you will bloom into such wonderful human beings. You are the citizens of the future, and you motivate us to do what we do. Thank you so much. Yeah, like Sylvia said, we're happy to work with you, and we learn from you, and we will seek your help when we try to motivate more children. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah.
Thank you, Supriya. Sorry, Chandra sir, we are not able to take your question. I think if you can put it in the chat box, probably the panelists can look at it and
No problem.
respond
No
later
problem.
as well.
No problem.
But thank you so much. And I would like to extend my thanks to Rebecca for arranging this panel discussion. She has been, she's the one who contacted all the panelists and arranged the time and all the logistics about this. Thank you so much. And she has been a wonderful teacher to many of them, and so that the pride that she
And to
had in
us.
and to us, and the pride she had in talking about each of you to me, and saying that these people can come to this panel and talk about this, and it will be useful for they will be the role models for the art school, our teachers as well as the students. It's really an enriching experience hearing you all. Thank you once again, Yagnit, Pranav, Nisha, Bhuvika, and Rishi. We'll be in touch, and good evening and goodbye. Thanks everybody for attending online. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Mira, I
Same
have
here.
a
Yeah,
uh,
Yagnit.
yeah. Can I? Yeah. So,
Go ahead, Rishi.
is it okay if I paste my email ID in the chat
Absolutely.
box?
Please do. Please do.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
be in touch.
No problem.
Please do. And please let us know when you are receiving that award. We'll have to in advance so that we can book our tickets and come over there.
I will reach out afterwards.
Thanks everybody for joining online from Vision Empire and all our partners and others who joined. Thank you.